Welcome to Falling into 40 with Bailey and Jessica.
Guess who's back? Back again. All right, welcome back to another episode of Falling into 40. And we are here. I feel like we are definitely falling into, I'm 40. Obviously, I've fallen into 40, but my body feels 40. It definitely feels its age lately. I notice, Bailey, that at night I have been I'm awaiting all my shows to start this fall for the season premieres.
Yes.
But I just found another show that I started watching, but I'm too tired. I used to, no joke, I could power through even if I was tired. I knew that was the only time I was going to have to watch the show was after everybody was in bed. And, even if it's 10:30, 11, I thought, okay, I can watch it. Well, now I can't. I have to listen to my body. I have to go to sleep. I can't watch the show because if I don't get enough rest, I don't function nearly as well as I used to off of little sleep.
And I've noticed even if I go 20 minutes longer than I need to, the next day I feel it, or it takes me longer to fall asleep when I go lay down because I've stirred myself up before time for bed. And yes, I'm noticing it too. And I don't know if it's the weather changing or the impending time change or what is going on with me, but I hit that wall in the evening time and I feel like I can just lay there. Like there's so many things. Laundry will be piled up. I need to do dishes after dinner. And all I want to do is go sit down, put my feet up, and just not move for a little while.
And another thing, I have noticed I've always been somebody who could nap on command, as I would say. It wouldn't matter if I had 12 hours of sleep. I could nap. Now, I can't nap, even if I'm exhausted. I can't ever get a nap, but I am getting in bed. And I think that maybe not being able to watch those shows and stay up has been beneficial because I have been going to sleep, and I hate to even say it, sleeping well, sleeping solidly. But we just had our first day of fall the other day, and excitingly enough, it was kind of cool that day in West Texas. And normally we don't see that, but it made me really want that weather and look forward to fall.
Yes, and I don't know. I think I get amnesia over the summer and in the springtime and things like that because every year it seems like fall hits and I'm excited for routine. I'm excited for school to start back up. But then once we hit the ground running, I start to feel this overwhelming sensation of everything is just piled on. It's too much. I get very, very anxious very, very quickly. And I know it's every fall and I know it's coming, but just preparing for that, I'm never fully prepared for all of the things that fall brings to us and all of the busy that comes back into our lives after we've had a summer of not being as busy and things being calm. And so this is the storm, and I've been having a lot of difficulty just navigating it for sure this fall.
Well, and these are those times that you have to learn to give yourself grace because, like you've mentioned, your youngest is at a new school, a new campus this year. Well, I guess I can just say this. So both of our youngest go to a school that is a hybrid homeschool classical education program. And so they attend school. So they're required 2 days a week. And then we have home days. And those days are not what people think if they have ever thought that homeschooling was easy or how great it must be, just amazing. While we are getting some really great moments with our own kids and seeing some growth, there are lots of days that are so hard and so overwhelming. And these are the times where you can really get caught up in your head and really start to feel that pressure building. And if you don't take care of yourself, then you catch yourself in trouble. And this is my family's second year at this school and Bailey's first year. And I remember exactly what she feels right now. And I still feel some of the same things because it's a lot.
Right.
But we've been able to do a couple of things together. And I think that they have been really helpful things for each of us. And I think that's kind of what we want to talk about today. And I'll let Bailey take the reins and start off with something that we've done recently.
Yes. So Jessica and I drive our boys to school in the mornings in a town that's about 45 minutes away. And so while they're in school, we both kind of talked about we don't always want to drive home. We don't always want to be out and about. And so we wanted to come up with something beneficial to both of us. And we've come up with a bunch of different things, and I think we'll both talk about some of the different things we've done. But together, we've decided to do some workout classes. So we decided we wanted to do something healthy for our bodies and our minds, and we started researching different places we could try. And so the first place we decided to try was it was at Hot Words, but it was a hot experience of like a workout in a sauna. And so
a small sauna. Like it was just me and Bailey in this small cubicle radiating mass amounts of heat.
And it got very hot, like
sweat dripping off of our face hot.
Yes. And we're doing all of these not easy moves. Like we didn't sign up for the beginner class.
We took the only one available. And we're like, yeah.
I think I know what that is. I think I can do these things. We did not research this well. We just picked a class, went in this hot, steaming vault of a
was a vault. And listen, so it was yoga poses, but they were held for longer, extended amounts of time. And then you're using your arms, and there's a screen. You're watching the instructors on a screen.
Yes.
And she's like telling you to put your hands together and like push as hard as you can. And she's like, you can do it. Press harder. And so I was really doing it. I was sore from like my own strength, my own 40-year-old arms.
Yes. Body weight movements. So you were using your own body weight. You were holding these poses for what felt like an eternity. I have done lots of yoga in my lifetime, but those poses in that heat and the vault with the walls closing in.
And at one point, I guess I kind of just laid down on the mat, and Bailey said, are we done? And I said, yes. And she kept going. And so for just a moment, I had a small fragment of hope that maybe we were just going to leave. But it was like 15 more minutes, and she kept going. So I got back up and continued on. But that was hot. maybe the best part is that afterwards we leave, but we still have a couple of hours and we've just sweated and we go and eat at a real healthy, organic-y type place. And it was great. The Fuel Bar, I think is what it's called.
Yes.
Yes. It's very good. Bailey introduced me to it. I'd never been there. We did that. It was great. And we went on with our day, picked our kids up separately. And I'm looking in the mirror in my car and I can see where makeup is like dripped down my face. And I thought, oh, that's cute. We've been eating, we've been in public, and I'm just walking around. It's not like we live there and go home and shower. So we just went about our day.
We showed everybody we worked hard.
Yes, obviously. Ooh, but it was good. That was a good experience. I mean, it was hard. It was hot.
Yes.
But it did feel good to sweat it all out, I guess. Right?
I could see how like that could really do some good. I would recommend it if that's the type of thing that you like.
If sweating so profusely that you might get a pimple in your hairline or two, if that's your thing, sweet. Go to hot. The other thing though is, had I not signed up with Bailey, I could have been in one of those little saunas with somebody that I didn't know. And to me, like it was a really small space. I don't want to be in a small space with somebody that I don't know.
No.
So that it's not something that I loved, but it was good for us and it was a good experience. And I think my mind felt better because, one, everybody knows that exercise and taking care of your body will help your mind as well. But it did take my mind off of all the things that were weighing on it. And we laughed. And so just the whole thing, the entire workout itself and the mood and doing it with a friend was good for us.
Yes. And so then, because we liked the workout part, we liked it being hot, we liked all of that. But the atmosphere of it, we were just kind of like, oh, let's see what else there was, because there are lots of options in as small of a community as we live in. I was surprised at how many options.
Real quick, we did that class for free. You get your first class free. So we were able to try that out and see if we liked it. So FYI.
And most studios we've looked at have some sort of introductory thing where either you can get 5 classes at a discounted rate, or you can get your first class free, and there's really no strings attached, or I don't think there was any strings attached.
No, there wasn't.
And a lot of, or they were like, you can get 3 workouts at $5 a workout. And honestly, if you can spend $5 a day on a coffee or on an ice cream or on a soda, tea, whatever, you can spend $5 a day on something that's going to be helpful to your body and your mind. And so Jessica went back to the drawing board, and we kind of researched other options that were similar, but maybe with an instructor in the room, a group class, and we found another option. And so that day they were having hot yoga, so we just signed up for it. It was kind of a similar thing. It was the morning of, and we decided we're going to sign up for this hot yoga class. So sign up for it. I've done quite a bit of yoga, so I felt okay going into it, but it was pretty advanced and it was hot yoga. So it wasn't as melting as the sauna, but the room was at a very high temperature. You were sweating sitting in there. It was like an uncomfortable warm, but for a reason. And yeah, I was impressed at some of the moves that Jessica could do in that class, but it was a little more advanced. I will say that I thought it was going to be. as far as yoga is concerned.
It was advanced. And first of all, I liked how we had the instructor in the room.
Yes.
And I have done yoga before, but I've never been in a class with that many people. It was
Right.
it was pretty full.
Yes.
Maybe even at their capacity.
Right.
I was a little shocked for some reason, and maybe this is just because I haven't done a ton of yoga classes. There was several men in the class.
Yes.
And I mean, yoga's for men and women, but I don't know. There was a man next to me who seemed to be maybe an expert.
Yes.
And he was very focused on his breathing. And I mean, it was very and so I had to look because I wanted to see, if I was doing something wrong, maybe I needed to do some breathing exercises. But he was doing a lot of intense things. But again, impressed, yes. Loved the instructor. Loved doing it with Bailey. We were kind of towards the front of the class. And so I didn't get to see a whole lot of what was going on behind me. Next time I want to be at the back. Or maybe I don't. No, I probably don't need to. I need to be at the front. But you know what? The very best part was at the end, you're laying down and your eyes are closed and they're ending it and they're saying I don't know, their mantra or
Yes.
whatever it is. I don't know all the
Yes.
words. But the lights go down a little bit darker and they come and they put the wet washcloth over
Yeah.
your forehead and eyes, and it smells like lavender, and I don't
Yes.
know. It was just like I could have
That
fallen asleep then, but I was super sore after that session.
Me too.
I mean,
It was much
yoga,
more advanced.
it was,
Yes.
but it was great.
It was.
And Bailey is a lot more familiar with the poses, knowing which ones, I know like downward dog and child's pose. I know some of them, but she knew a lot more. And I'm the person that's constantly looking around. I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Am I facing the right way? No, your other right, but it was good.
But the handstand thing with your legs over the top, you rocked that. And I was impressed. Like I am truly, truly impressed by your ability to do the handstand with your legs.
Listen, I want to go in there and practice it some more. I used to do that kind of stuff like just randomly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just goofing off and well, we need to move on to the next what did we do? It's like
Bar class.
Bar. Oh yeah. Love it. That's my favorite.
Yes.
Same studio, but not hot.
So the next time we want to sign up for something, we're like, okay, what's available this day that we're going to be over here? Perfect timing. It was bar. And I was like, all right, I'm a former dancer. I think I can handle bar. Let's try it. And so we signed up. Loved the class. I really, truly loved it. It did make me sore. Very core related, a lot of core. And so I don't think my core has been challenged to that point in a very long time. So if anybody's looking for something to challenge your core and your booty and your thighs, bar is for you.
Yes.
Because all of my middle part of my body was sore after that, in a good way.
Yes.
But yes, I really enjoyed that. I liked the music.
That's what I was going to say.
It's to a track, and every workout has a different song that you do the workout to. And it's fun. And you have the bar, like the ballet bar that you hold on to, that you use. There's a lot of balance stuff, which, with my back issues and things, I felt like it was non-invasive. I didn't hurt, like nothing hurt me to do. And so that is something I'm always looking for. So I really did. And we've done 2 bar classes so far. I thought they've both been great for different reasons.
We've only done 2?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right? Well, I mean, it's only been like 3 weeks.
I was thinking we'd done more than that.
No, we
Well,
did 2.
that's my favorite. And the instructor is just, I love her. She's just kind of skipping around and all flowy with her movements. And,
Yes.
there were some funny times. Because, I mean, my maturity level, maybe that of a 10-year-old, 12-year-old boy, I don't know. But there's lots of pulsing. Like hips up
On your toes.
Your feet are on the ground. You're on the ground. You're laying on the ground, and your knees are bent, and then you're like up on your toes, and then you pull your hips up, and your rear's tucked in, and you're like, and tuck, pulse, 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 tuck, pulse, 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 and it was like, whoa! And I'm looking around, and the song was like, I don't know, and I was trying to talk to Bailey in it, and I was laughing because it was like, I don't know. I get it was inappropriate. It was inappropriate, but I was laughing. And anyway, again, left that class. Oh, no, hang on. I think I'm the only one in the class that can't do the splits. Bailey's over there doing the splits. There's a woman who is rocking it at like 75, maybe, doing this. Like,
He can do the splits.
and I'm like,
Yes.
my mom can do the splits. I don't think I've ever been able to do the splits. So I'm kind of over there doing that, just one leg out and my back leg on the ground,
Half
and thinking,
splits.
yeah, I don't even know if they're called half splits, what I was doing.
I think that's what they're called. Yeah.
I was doing quarter splits. But I was really impressed with that. Loved it. That's probably something, that's the one thing I didn't continue to look at my watch. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
No, the class was over, and like I didn't even realize it. I never looked at the clock once. Yeah.
And I think I like that because while you're working out and you're doing all those things, it wasn't like getting on a treadmill for an hour,
Right.
It just felt good. It was fun. And again, you said the playlist. I loved her playlists. Those are all songs that I've got on different playlists of my own. So I really enjoyed that. And they are so nice at that studio.
Yes.
I mean, incredibly nice. But I want to tell everybody about my floating experience.
That was where I was going. I was about to say, you did something on your own that I didn't go do with you, but now I'm inspired and I want to do it. So I want you to explain your experience because it sounds unreal.
I want this in my house. I want my own. But I was actually trying to get an appointment for a cold plunge and an infrared red light therapy session, and I couldn't find one that was available for the time that I wanted. So Bailey said, well, what about, I think it's called the float therapy, and it's the Float Spa of Midland. So I made an appointment. I went in. I had to watch a video, an introductory, like for your first time, what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
So I did the sauna, the infrared red light therapy sauna first. And that got really hot, but I sat there. It was relaxing. Red light therapy there's a lot of research done that says that it's good for regeneration on the cellular level, I guess is how you say that. And It helps with like rheumatoid arthritis. If you have things like that, it helps with back pain. It helps with spine lines and wrinkles. I mean, it does a ton of good things for you. So I think overall, just a healthy thing to do if you can. So I did that, got really hot, sweating, was great. Then took a shower in the same room as my pod. Then you get in the pod and you pull the lid down. You lay back, you're in there with so much salt. It was like 1,000 times greater than the Dead Sea, I think. You're buoyant, like you are just floating. There is a optional small pillow that you can put underneath your head. I kind of put it where it was under my neck because my neck hurts a lot, and I didn't want to have to like strain thinking that like my head wasn't going to float, even though it completely would have.
So your head is on something, but your body's just floating.
Right. And I didn't put my head, I moved it like right here, just right behind my neck, the lower part of my head and the upper part of my neck. And the lady had told me, once you are comfortable, you can turn the music off that's going on in there. And I picked it was like spa music. And there's some low blue lights in there. In about, I don't know how long it was because you lose all sense of time in there. I was comfortable immediately. So I turned everything off. And so I'm floating. My legs are completely relaxed. My arms are out. And I fell asleep. Completely asleep. You're only in 18 inches of water. So it's not a big, deep thing, but you're floating. It is the craziest thing.
Yeah.
When the jets came on, it jerked me awake. I sat up and I threw open the shell because it's just, I guess, an automatic response. And I couldn't believe I had been in there an hour. And of course, I don't know how long it took me to fall asleep. You lose all sense of time.
Right.
And I think they've got a lot of magnesium. There's magnesium, there's all this stuff floating, these minerals in there. Well, I got out and I was you take another shower and they have a room where you can get ready if you need to go back to wherever it is that you've got to go. So it's I felt great the rest of the day, but it was the next day that I could really tell a difference. I think I should make time to do it once a month. I'm telling you, my body felt better. The reason my body felt better, anybody with chronic pain, like Bailey's back issues, my whole body at times just doesn't feel good. Joint pain. It is the only, if you think about it, you've always got pressure on joints on your back. I mean, you're never without it because that's how our bodies work. We're standing, we're walking, we're sitting. There's pressure there. Well, during that hour, there was no pressure anywhere on my body. It was simply, you're floating. And I think the magnesium, all of it was so good for my skin and my system that I think for like 4 days afterwards, I just felt good. I felt rested in my mind. This is the best part too. Everything's the best part, I guess. I felt, not that God provides peace, and I understand that, and He provides the peace that we can't explain over situations in our life that are really hard and tough, and we make it through. And when we look back, we don't know how we made it through. But this pod provided a calm, like it took away the overwhelming feeling. Like I could function the next few days without this heavy. It was just so good for my mind, I think. And the reason being is that you're shut out. It was just an hour, but you're not looking at anything, your watch, your phone, and you have no sense of time. And I think that we could do that in so many other ways, but to shut shut everything off and give your mind a break. We don't do that. And maybe that's the reason why we have so many, there's such a rise in mental illness, because we don't take care of ourselves the way we should.
Right. Yes.
Go
And
float.
just shutting it off. And before I recommended that float to you, I had known others to do it. I had never done it, but everyone that I talked to had similar things to say about how it was just the best thing they had done, and that, it helped with their inflammation, it helped with their mental health. And so I don't know what made it pop into my mind for you to try that, but yeah, I had heard nothing but great things about it, and so it's on my list to try when I have an hour. And that's a thing, you got to make the hour. And I'm horrible, and I just almost said it out loud on here, when I have the time, well, I got to make the time. And I so often don't make the time. And this past week, you and I were not able to go do a class or do something together. And I will say, I felt it and I missed it. I felt a little more anxious those 2 days that we didn't go. And so, yeah, it made me realize even more, even if it's just one of the 2 days, we've got to go do it. Or if one of us can't, the other one, we have to decide, okay, well, then I'm going to go do a float today, or I'm going to go do this. Because again, if you can get that coffee, if you can go get that tea, if you can go get the special treat that you treat yourself with, or you can go to Target and get the things that you don't necessarily need, you can commit.
And it's weird. I think I can recognize in myself my own irritability, and when I feel overwhelmed,
yes,
I don't shut down. I get grouchy, and I don't like it when I know I'm grouchy, but I can't seem to get out of that. And doing these few simple things over the past couple of weeks has made a difference in my overall mood. And I really like that. And maybe that's why my sleep has been, a combination of all the things. Instead of investing time in shows at night, during the day, I have spent my time a little bit more wisely, kind of like I always preach to my children, my oldest, especially, time management. And I do want to add something else to that. That float would have been even better if I had set aside 2 hours, because as soon as I finished, I was in a hurry and I was throwing my clothes on and rushing. But if I had just thrown my hair back in a low ponytail and not cared that it was wet leaving, and it would have been better to take comfy clothes to go home in, not a cute outfit, go home in your yoga pants and a big oversized t-shirt and your tennis shoes. But instead I was rushing. But there's a comfy chair that you could have sat in and drank tea and just really relaxed. So next time, that's my goal, is to set aside 2 hours so I can really soak it in.
Well, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to have to get on and schedule it, and it's there and it has to be done.
Lastly, we have a friend, while we're talking about movement and taking care of ourselves, who started a group on Facebook for women in our town. She's encouraging movement for women. And the people that are in the group happen to be a bunch of women who run, which is wonderful. But she's promoting any kind of movement. The group was made for women to encourage each other and to say, you can do it, don't give up, whatever the goal is for. Is it weight loss? Is it mental health? Is it because we need to? We have bodies and we need to be moving them, and we live in a time where you're still, for a long time, you're not moving your body. And we watch TV and we watch football and we do all these things, but we're not moving.
Right.
And so we've got to move. And something that we have to remember is if we aren't moving now at age 40 or whatever age you are, 39, 40, or if you move more now, you're going to be better off in your later years. And that's scientifically proven. We begin to lose muscle mass starting at age 40. I'm pretty sure it's like when perimenopause starts with women.
Right.
That you start losing muscles. So if you don't use your muscles, you're going to lose them. So I was just shouting out our friend. I think it's wonderful to encourage each other. I love that she's done that. And no matter how you're moving your body, whatever you need to do to clear your mind and to find that place to release all of the things that you've held in, hopefully you can do that in addition to reading your Bible or journaling. All of the things combined that we need to do to take care of ourselves. That's what it takes. But also that little bit of encouragement from your friends, from a group. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. And shout out to her for creating that group and making an atmosphere and an environment where women can feel like it's not a competition. It's, hey, I want you to be healthy and good for you no matter what phase of life you're at or what phase of movement you're at, your capabilities.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that group. I've been so impressed with it. You and I have had each other through this journey, and we've been able to laugh together and encourage each other. And each time in our workouts, one of us might not really be feeling it or wanting to do it, and we look over at each other, and the other person's, doing it hardcore. So then you're like, all right, well, I'm going deeper now. I wanted to quit, but I got a badge.
And pulse.
But not everybody has that. And so that group has provided an opportunity to people to not only feel like they're held accountable a little bit to what they're doing, but they have that outlet and that avenue to say, you know what, I woke up and I wasn't going to do it, but I pushed through and I thought, you know what, somebody else is doing this today, or somebody else may need to see this today. So I did it. It wasn't pretty, but it's done. And now I'm so proud. And they're able to have a platform where they can share that with one another. And maybe somebody was feeling that same way that morning and they see that and they're like, oh, you know what? They did it. They pushed through when they didn't want to do it. I'm going to go do it too. And the other thing is, at this phase of life, it's so easy to get caught up in the excuses and we're so busy. Our kids are so busy. I can't make the time to do it. But on the other hand, I know what I want 50 to feel like for me. I know what I want 60 to feel like for me. And if I don't start now, and if I don't start taking care of that now and holding myself accountable to doing the things that keep me healthy now, 50, 60, 70, those are not going to look, feel, or be the way that I want them to be. And I'm setting myself up for hopefully not, but for future illnesses and for things to become issues that if I take care of it now may not be an issue in the future. So yes.
Yeah.
I think it's so important.
It is so important. And I will say, I'm proud of us, Bailey.
Yeah.
I think that we've stepped out of our comfort zone in some ways.
Yes.
I have for sure. And we've done some cool stuff and we've met some really nice instructors and people, and we're going to keep doing it. So I want everybody to try a float though. I mean, I really do. I know Bailey's going to. Can't wait to hear about her experience. If you are claustrophobic, you can leave the lid open, I guess is what I'm going to call it, the lid.
Yes.
But it does tell you you're not going to get the full experience. So if you're really claustrophobic, it's probably just not for you. But highly recommend doing that. And just everything that Bailey just said was spot on. We need to take care of ourselves now for future self.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
all right.
I think it's great.
We hope this was a good listen for those of you that joined us. There's been a lot of heavy stuff going on. If you turn the TV on, the news, almost any year of your life at any time, you're just going to hear the horrible. But it seems like lately there have been lots of heavy things going on in the world and our country. And so we just wanted to talk about a few things that we have done that have helped us, and being able to do that is super important. Take care of ourselves, and we thank you. We appreciate you, and get to moving, because if you don't move it, you're going to lose it.
Amen, sister.
Right? So if you're falling into 40, if you aren't even close to 40, maybe you're 20 and you just think we're cool old ladies on here. Maybe you're well past. Maybe you're my mom and you're listening because you love us and that's just what you do. But we don't care how old you are. We want you to listen. We don't care about age. And we love you. We thank you. And please keep coming back so we can learn from you and learn from each other, and just do this thing that we call life together.
We are so grateful, and get moving today.
Get moving. Thank you for tuning in with us on today's episode of Falling into 40. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts.